Handsum Gambler, one goal, clean sweep, going 5 for 5 every UFC card. I am the Handsome Gambler. What can I say, folks? I asked you to let me cook last week. Final tally 4-1. 80% clip. It's 5 weeks in a row. Don't want to toot my own horn, but toot. I'm highly impressed with myself, highly impressed with my picks, and just going to keep it going. As always, we have to get into a quick recap on UFC Vegas 108. The first pick was Rodolfo Vieira over Tresean Gore. I told you he was the all-around better fighter, even the striker. He did not get any takedowns, but he dominated that fight with his aggression, forward pressure, and he never stopped throwing his output. Tresean gave himself every opportunity to win that fight, but he did not have the output, and that's what always scares me about Tresean. The fight went exactly how I thought it was. That was the first win of the night. Fight number 2 was Carol Hosa over Noro Conroe. Too much volume, too much experience. She also struggled with the takedown, but the pop, I forgot the pop that Carol Hosa has on her boxing. Very workmanlike performance. She outdogged her. I want to see her be a little bit more active. I want to see her be a little bit more active. I think she gave us a reminder of who she is, and she needs to stay consistent so we don't forget now. But that was fight number 2. Third, I took the main event. Told you guys, easiest money of the night. Tatsuro Taira over Hung Sung Park. Controlled every minute. As soon as he opened his neck for that rear naked choke, he landed it. It was kind of a weird choke because it was a neck crank and a choke and an all things bad kind of neck crank and choke scenario, more like a catch wrestling kind of move, but nasty stuff from Tatsuro Taira. Got it done. I hit 3 bets on that fight. I had him on the money line. I had him by sub, and I had a mixture of him double chance. I had him by sub and by knockout. Next up, fight number 4 was Esteban Ribovics over Elvis Brenner. That forward pressure, that momentum, that power, and that beard. As long as that dude has that chin, I'm going to keep on rocking with him until the wheels fall off. There's nobody that wants to stand and bang with Esteban Ribovics in his entire weight class right now. He will put you out. He will win if you stand and bang with him. Now, the one misstep on the night was Mateus Rebecki over Chris Duncan. I'm a little pissed at this fight as it was not a unanimous decision victory. Come on. He landed double, maybe triple the significant strikes that Chris Duncan landed. Now, Chris Duncan did land a hell of a lot more damage. That dude had a rhinoceros horn on his head. He was bleeding profusely out of his eyes. His nose was busted. His eye was practically shut. Like, it was a bad look, but it was not a unanimous decision victory. I think that all happened in the second round, but it's neither here nor there. I'm going to take my 4-1, and we're going to roll it over into the next card. 5 straight weeks of cashing tickets. Consistency is not easy, but I make it look smooth. Now let's keep the heat going. This is a new card, new matchups, same mission. We're going 5-4-5. Let's get it. First fight on UFC Vegas 109, taking Jocelyn Edwards over Priscilla Cachoeira. She's taller, she's longer, she gets hit a lot less. She can grapple in this fight if she wants to. That's a big hole in Priscilla's game. She's been at King's MMA for years. That's a true fight camp. I don't know where Priscilla's been training at lately, and it's a last minute fight, so has she even been training at all? But easy money. I got Jocelyn Edwards. I'm going to say by decision. I'm going to give the zombie girl her due. She's tough as shit. Fight number two, I'm taking the newcomer Elijah Smith over Toshiomi Kazama. Bigger, taller, younger. I'm believing the hype after that fight with Vince Morales. And just being honest with you, Vince Morales is a much tougher opponent than Toshiomi Kazama is. Vince Morales would beat the shit out of Toshiomi Kazama. Let's just keep it a buck. Toshiami is lost 3 of 4 fights by getting KO'd, and I think this is going to happen again. He's basically submission or bust, and I don't think he's going to get a chance to grapple at all. I think he's going to get starched and starched pretty quick, finished possibly clubbed and then finished on the ground, or just starched and knocked out, or standing punches, the rough stoppage. That could happen too. But I don't think that he's UFC caliber, and the negative 550 odds at the filming of this video, I think is true. I think that Smith is very parlay friendly. If you can find any plus money at all, bet it with him. Fight number 3 is I'm taking Juice Box, Julius Walker over Rafael Cerqueira. Cerqueira's a fraud. He lost to Ibo Urslan. He's got a questionable record outside of the UFC. And he's taking on a guy who went the distance with Atomic Alonzo Manningfield. That dude's dog tough. If you can make it, he's like one of the gatekeepers of the division. If you can make it past him, you pretty much can have a career in MMA. And he did not beat him, but he survived him, and a lot of people don't. But he survived him, and I think that makes a statement. And it's going to be a one-sided beating. I feel like Julius Walker makes this look easy. Inside of, take the under. I say inside of a round and a half, this fight will be over. I'm going to say knockout, ground and pound finish. We haven't seen him go for submission yet. He's young. It kind of wigs me out that he only has 7 fights total, but we did see him have that true test against Atomic Alonzo. So I'm going to say inside the distance, take the under, juice box knockout. Fight number 4, I'm taking Gene Matsumoto over Miles Johns. He's younger, he's a sharper striker. I feel like he's taken on and beaten a similar opponent to Miles John in Dan Argueta. He's a finisher. Jean Matsumoto is a finisher. He has finished victories by submission and knockout. And Miles Johns has a limited way to win this fight. His number one preference of win is by decision, and I don't think he's going to be able to win enough moments of this fight for a decision to go his way. I could be wrong, but I see this can be one-sided, either 15-minute one-sided beating, or he may even somehow get a finish. If the finish happens, I see it happening in the second half of the fight, so we'll say in the last 6 or 7 minutes of the fight and not in the first 6 or 7 minutes of the fight. And fight number 5, I'm taking the comeback kid, Steve Erceg over Ode Osborne. He's the better all-around fighter, the better striker for sure. I feel like he has a big strength of schedule advantage. He's been taking on some literal killers, and that's why he's on this 3-fight losing streak. He has main event experience, so he's ready to go 5 rounds. He's been training in training camp for, I think, 2 weeks longer than he should have at this point. But either way, last minute opponent change, it being Ode Osborne. This is actually a tougher opponent than he was initially scheduled to face, I believe. Not as tough as Alex. He was going to take on Alex somebody, and he pulled out. And then he had Park originally, and he pulled out. So I feel like Ode is tougher than Park, but not as tough as Alex. So, I mean, he's still going to have a decent fight on his hands, but I think he's an older opponent that's been fighting longer, and he wasn't in training camp. So I think that's going to be enough to give Usyk an edge. He can also grapple if he needs to, and it may be the smart move to grapple in this fight. We don't know if they're going to fire him. I know he's got some clout, and he's like a new star, but he's on a 3-fight losing streak, and he's definitely lost a lot of his luster that he had when he was fighting Pantoja. So I think this is a good bounce back spot. Usyk inside the distance. I probably wouldn't go like under 1.5, but I'd trust anything later than that. And the sub prop, maybe double it up, try to get a sub prop and a decision or knockout prop. But I believe the correct pick is Steve Usyk. That's 5 picks, 5 shots to profit. Stay sharp, play smart, bet on charm, and bend with style. I am Handsum Gambler, and I'll see you at the pay window. See you next week, folks.
It's the greatest team of all time. That squad right there.